Well, I want to show something of the new developments of family constellations. And I call this moving with the spirit mind. And that is a new development in every respect. And what it is, I will demonstrate mainly here, without giving many explanations, so we can witness actually what it is like to allow ourselves to be moved by the spirit mind. But one few remarks after all. There is the observation that everything that exists is in a motion. Everything that exists is in a motion, and in a motion that is connected with everything else. Therefore, behind this motion, we must think that there is another power, a knowing power, directing everything as it is. And Aristotle talked about the first mover behind everything. But there was nothing before that could be moved. Now, how does something come into existence? Because it is thought by this spirit mind. Now, if we take that seriously, what does that mean? Everything as it is moved in the same way by this spirit mind. Therefore, for this spirit mind, there are no distinctions between good or bad, or right or wrong, or good people or bad people. They all are thought as they are by this spirit mind. Therefore, in conclusion, we ourselves must move into a realm where we leave these distinctions behind us, so that we agree to everybody and to everything as it is, exactly as it is. And this opens new dimensions for our work. And these dimensions we can witness now. Now the procedure is as follows. I will ask who wants to work with me. And they raise their hands, and then I choose somebody. And with this person I work. Now, do I choose the person because I like them or no? I choose them in accordance with the movement of the spirit mind. And that would mean, if I choose them in this way, what I will do will be of benefit to all of you at the same time. Therefore, I have all of you in mind when I choose such a person. Now, who would like to work with me? To raise your hands, please. Then I will have a look. So, I work with you. Yes. Hmm? How are you feeling now here, close to me?
I'm very happy and I'm very glad and thankful. With a long way to come.
Where do you come from?
I'm come from Germany, a long way in years.
Yes, okay. But what is now the procedure, see? I go into resonance with him and with his family and with his destiny. And then I feel what I will do first. And I rely on the movements of representatives. They show what is important. Therefore, I will choose a representative of him first, who would like to do this. So you stand here, you represent him. Now we don't talk, you see. You just get centered, and then you wait until you are moved in one way or the other, exactly as you are moved. And from this we get all the important information. You are in his service, see? But you don't have to look at him, don't have to look at me, you're just all on your own. Okay? Good. May I take you? Would you lie on the floor on your back in front of him, there where he looks, just on the floor. That's it, yes. Do you have children?
No.
So we could see the right hand of the woman is shaking, you see. He always wants to turn, but I prevent him from turning. Tell her, for you I do everything.
For you I do everything.
I even die.
I'll even die.
And you tell him, you for me.
You for me.
You for me too.
You for me too.
Now what we can observe is, you see, because she looks at him, she does not have to look at this dead person. But that's how children are, you see. They sacrifice everything for their mother. Happily, of course.
Not really.
Thank you. See, I took him out of something that had nothing to do with him. There is the issue. Her right hand is shaking very, very much. Now she's grasping his hand. But he does not look at her. He looks away. You are the secret. How are you feeling now?
Big relief. Big relief. And expansion. And expansion.
See, what we observe here are movements of the spirit mind, and they bring together what has been separated before. So they overcome the separation, you see. Now, what could we observe? There's a secret, and the secret is obviously a former relationship of your father. You know that. And there has been a child. Yes.
It was in his youth, so this person must be a young person, yes. But it's not a young person. I don't guess that is a child of him, but he was young when this happened.
What happened?
In a fight when he was young, the other person died. The other person died.
In which connection?
They fight when they were young. So my father became a murderer.
Or he killed him?
Yes.
So in a family, very often another person takes over the guilt and the consequences of a guilt for another person. And here, the woman took over first. She took over first. Then you took over. But there is a secret still. The fight might have been about a woman. There is something like this, there's a connection. See? The question is now, you see, for you, you stand up now. And you look at all of them, you see. At their destiny. And you look beyond their destiny to a greater force. And nobody can escape this greater force. All are involved, you see. Your father, your mother, you, this person, and this person as well. And you look beyond. And you leave them there. Without any regret, without any desire to make up for something. Everything is all right, as it is for everybody. But look beyond. Look beyond. That's it. You can leave this. These are dynamics of soul, you see. Penance, atonement, you see. Feeling guilty, you see. taking over for somebody else. They're all movements of the soul. And they're all limited. And they don't bring together. Now you look beyond the realm of the spirit mind. That's wide and open for everybody, including you. And now you have a future. And you look at that future too. Free. At last. Look beyond. Look beyond. Leave things as they were. This is anchoring, you see. That's from NLP, anchoring. I did anchoring for him. Okay? Good. Thank you all. I would have asked him about his problem in the beginning, you see. Would you have told me something relevant?
It would have been a long way to come to this.
Of course, he didn't know, you see. He couldn't have told me, you see. Here, in this way of working, we get the important information from the representatives, you see. And of course, I myself was staying in tune with these movements. That's why I knew whom to select after a while, you see. And also the sentences I let them say were part of that movement, you see. But it turned out at the end something quite different was important, you see. But if we trust these movements, it comes to light. You see. And the main thing here is that something is set in motion towards love for everybody, then everybody can find his or her peace. And that was the important thing. That's why we don't have to inquire anymore. You don't have to bother anymore. You better look forward. Okay? Good. Okay then. Now, if you look at what I said before about the movements of the spirit mind, these movements of spirit mind, we may say these are movements of something divine, but we don't know anything about this. But we can observe the movements of the spirit mind. We could observe them here, that there are movements of love for everything as it is, you see. Now all religions, all the images that we have in various religions about God, are movements of exclusion. In every religion, in Christianity or in Islam or even in Buddhism, there are some who are elected, chosen, under certain conditions they have to fulfill, and others are excluded. Now this image is contrary to all we can imagine about God. Completely contrary. So many, I heard on 70th St. Patrick's Day, you told me. Now all these ancient saints, and Patrick included, you see, they were tormenting themselves all the time. Whom were they tormenting? An image God had of them. All these endeavors are against the creative images God has of everybody as he or she is. And I had a strange insight recently. I was thinking about paradise. So, shall I tell you something about paradise? So, yes, of course I have studied theology and the Bible for a long time, but it never occurred to me how strange that story is about paradise, because Adam and Eve were driven out of paradise, they were expelled. Why? Because they had been eating from the tree of knowledge. That was forbidden to them to eat from the tree of knowledge. But that snake, see, tempted them to eat from the tree of knowledge. Now, what kind of knowledge was this? That knowledge about good and bad. Now, was that an insight? Was that a knowledge? Or was it an attempt to put themselves above God, for whom there can be no distinction between good and bad? Therefore, because of this false knowledge, they were expelled from paradise. And of course, because they had now the knowledge of good and bad, it resulted very soon in the first murder. Now Cain killed his brother Abel. Why? Because he thought God preferred his brother Abel to him, because of the distinction he made of good and bad, and he applied that to God. This, you see, the consequence is the first murder. And all the murders in the world, and all the wars in the world, originate from this distinction of good and bad. Now, I have found back to the real knowledge of God. That for him there is no distinction between good and bad. And this new way of constellations I demonstrate here show that there's no distinction, that they are brought together by a movement of the spirit mind, whatever might have happened. What I'm doing now, I knock at the door of paradise, and the tree opens. Can you follow me still there? Now, the only thing we have to do, we have to practice it. See? And then, in paradise, of course, there's another tree. That is a tree of life. And that is accessible to us now, as soon as we leave these distinctions behind. Now, who wants to work with me who has an illness? Now you raise your hand yourself. Okay, good. There you come. What is the illness?
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Good.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Chronic fatigue syndrome? Okay. Now, how long do you sleep usually?
At night,
How long do you sleep usually?
8 hours.
Sufficient? 8 hours?
Yes.
Is that a disease?
No.
Well, sometimes I make fun of that, of course, you see. I never take things seriously, you see. Why should I, you see? But I work seriously with that problem, okay? So, I have you in my mind, and I have your mother in my mind. So I'm in good company. Okay? Good. How long do you have that?
Since I was born. Since I was born.
Since you were born?
35 years.
Tell me something about the circumstances of your birth.
I'm the second child. It was hospital birth in the Netherlands. I don't know of any strange circumstances. I think it was normal. I think it was normal. Normal.
Okay. Now the main thing is to find out how to begin, you see, for me now. That's an important question. So the first, if I miss the first step, then I'm lost. So the first step is most important. So I need a woman as a representative who is volunteering. You're volunteering? Okay, come here. You can get through here, that's easier. Stand here. And I need another woman. So, take you, okay? Stand here. Now you represent her, and you represent her mother. lie in front of her on your back. You know what it shows?
Fear, death.
There was a twin. A rejected twin. Or a murdered twin. I need a man. I need a man. You? Okay. Stand here. You are the father. He was involved. So the mother was moving away from him, and they look at him. Does it make sense?
Yeah, this does.
She's afraid of him. And she's afraid of her. You know what the best solution is for you? Shall I tell you? Chronic fatigue.
Connect.
Then you escape all this. Say to him, please.
Please.
Say it with love.
Please.
Look at him.
Please.
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 Say, please. With love. Please.
Please. Please.
With love. With love. Please.
Love.
No, just the word. You say the word with love, but you only say please. Please, Dad.
Please.
Dad.
Please, Dad. Please, Dad.
See how superior she feels? It has a high price. Now you lie on your belly. Lie on your belly in front of him. Just lie on your belly. Stretch out your hands forward. Just lie down on your belly. On your belly. On your belly. On your belly, I said. See the resistance? Stretch out your hands forward. Lie down, fully down, like this. Now you say, please.
Please, please.
And you also say to him, please. You lie on your belly. You remain small. And this one is forgotten. Through this aggression, she is forgotten. You know what she says to him in her heart? I will kill you. You see that? It's the aggression with her foot. That's a murderous impulse. So you are no better than anybody else. back to your place again. Go back to your place again. See, all fast movements are not movements of the spirit mind. They come from the mind. Therefore we can forget them. All quick movements we can forget. I can interrupt it here. We see the basic movement, and we see that we are not permitted to go further, you see. There is a perpetrator here who is excluded by all. All the energy goes to the exclusion of the perpetrator. And it has a certain price, the exclusion, a high price. And that's it. That's all what I could show you, see? Okay, thanks the representatives. Now you get out of your representation, be yourself again. Now you close your eyes. And you look at your illness, and you tell your illness, better you than me.
Better you than me.
Okay?
Okay.
All the best. Now this is another characteristic of this new kind of work. We don't need a solution very often. Important is that we see the basic movement. And the basic movement of the spirit mind is very slow. And after what we could see here happen, she cannot be the same anymore, of course. So things will change, see? At their time, not here in such a short time. Therefore, it's quite all right to leave it here. So, as you see, I have no pity, you see? I have no pity. Why should I have pity? I had a little pity for the father, I must admit, you see. Because he was excluded, but otherwise, so we keep out of this kind of feelings of pity and of zeal and eagerness, you see, to achieve something. We let things move, And suddenly we know this is how far we are permitted to go, and then we stop. And we leave things to take their own course. Somebody else here with an illness who wants to look at it? So, yes? Of course, if we deal with illnesses, the temptation of pity, you see, and eagerness to help is greatest, of course. And it needs special courage to resist this, you see. Because everybody is in his or her special destiny moved by the spirit mind. I don't have to interfere in this way. I only assist these movements as far as I am permitted and called upon, but not further. Now, what is your illness?
I have fibroids in my womb. It's like tumors, but they are not cancer.
Okay. Again, the question, how shall I start? You see? Well, sometimes I have strange thoughts. So. I need a woman. You? Okay. Stand here. You are her womb. Okay? Now we see already from her movement she's looking at dead people, you see. The question is, how many are there? My image is there are 3. Yours too? You also had 3? How many did you have? Yeah. Oh, you knew there were more than 1. Okay, so I take you 3, lie there in front of her. We see very clearly from her movement they are all connected with her womb. They are all children. Now you close your eyes. And now you take all of them into your body with love. How is that for you?
It's strange because it coincides with the fact that I have two brothers and a sister, but I've never had children or anything like that. And I'm the eldest, so I'm wondering if, because I've been mothering them since very early, if that may have anything to do with it or something.
I don't interpret it. There are many connections possible, you see. The exclusion of children shows in many ways. For instance, if women take the pill after, then you have dynamics like that, you see. Or if they take a spiral, you have that. Or if they had artificial insemination, you see. All those egg cells who were fertilized and thrown away belong to the system. Nobody can be excluded. And therefore I don't interpret that. I don't interpret that. But from the movement of the womb we could see the very clear movement of expulsion, you see, or closing up, that we could see. And then the solution is to take back what was denied recognition. That would be the solution. And therefore, an illness like this very often shows a way to a solution. And the solution is always one of taking in instead of taking away. And if you would have that operated, would be another way of exclusion, of course. So they couldn't help, you see. Inclusion helps. Can I leave it there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you all. Now, in this kind of work, we leave things open. So if you would fix it, and would say, for instance, these are aborted children or so, then we close up ourselves to all the other possibilities there that may show. And from experience, we see that what I just mentioned, you see, has a far-reaching effect. And it's very often denied, that effect. And well, I make a little meditation with you. So close your eyes. And now we move into our body. And we feel where in our body seems something to be missing. As if there was a hole that wants to be filled. And you don't have to interpret anything. You feel that something is missing there, perhaps. And then you make yourself open to receive back what seems to be missing there. Whatever it is, whoever it is. Whoever it is in your own life and whoever it is in your family. And you welcome back what has been missing, what had no place in you or in your family. And you feel the difference in your body. Okay. I want to say something about health. Shall I? Are you ready for health? So we have the idea somebody is ill, and in the future they get healthy again. No? So first they are ill, and health is lying in the future. And some wait a long time for their health because they look at it in the future. So I was thinking the other day about where are the important things, you see? What is decisive in life, you see? Is it in the future? Does it come after we walk from a beginning to a completion, and at the completion we reach fulfillment? That's a common thought, isn't it? Well, then I was thinking of a newborn child, you see. The newborn child has everything. There's nothing missing. It unfolds and develops what it has already, isn't it? Shall I go on? So, yeah? Can you listen still to me? Well, by going on, so in developing, things are left out. We develop by leaving things out. Therefore, while we develop, we get less in a certain way. And illness is a kind of getting less. Can you still follow me? Yes? Not too difficult? Well, what would be the procedure then when we are ill? Are we moving forward or are we moving back to the beginning, where everything is present already? Now, how do we get healthy? Well, I do it as an exercise with you, you see? You close your eyes. Now you think of an organ that is ill, doesn't function well anymore. The heart or the lungs, or there is some trouble in your bones, or in your digestion, or wherever, you see. Now you look at it. For instance, look at your heart as it is now, and then you look at your heart when it began to beat for the first time. There was a full strength right in the beginning. And now we move back to that time of the full strength of our heart. And we connect our present heart with the beginning, to get strength from the beginning, the full strength available there. And we feel the healing effect of the beginning for what happens in our body now. And of course we look at the past at the beginning with joy. With gratitude. And allow the past to do its work now. Its healing work now. I'll give you some other examples to make you familiar with this procedure. For instance, if you are wearing glasses, then you imagine the time where you didn't need any glasses, and you go back to that time. And you ask your body of that time to take an effect on the here and now, so that the eyesight is changed by what was possible before. It is reorganized and set in motion again to overcome the present limitations. Or if you are hard of hearing, as I still am at present, you go back to the time when you could listen very well. And you take the strength from that time to change something in the present. These are exercises who don't know harm, you see, never. Never. It's a question of sticking to it for some time, like you, Sebastian, of course, have now to take. You took a resolution now. You see, I saw that in your face already. Yes, I do it with my glasses. I put them away, and I see much better already after 3 weeks. You see, and this is with other things as well, like walking difficulties or so on. You go back to the time before. So there was everything all right. These are new perspectives now, of course, beautiful perspectives, you see, for helping ourselves and for helping others. So, and I read a beautiful book recently, you see, by a Russian. It calls, in German, calls, do you have it here? Yeah. I lent it to Jutta. So I hope I can read the name without glasses. Is Nabokov. Esel's wisdom, the donkey's wisdom, donkey's wisdom. It's a wonderful book. I recommend it. You see, I learned a lot for myself from there, and of course, all I say about illness and health, you see, it's no from yesterday. It's no longer applicable because he found something quite different, you see. Shall I tell you? I still have a few minutes' time? Yes. You see, he was the man himself. Was very ill as a young man. He had to get the blood purified all the time, but it's very healthy, very old now. And he was attending to many famous Russian politicians, all ill, you see. And one had Parkinson and so on. And one day they met again, and that man was completely healthy, completely healthy. And he asked him what happened, you see. He said, well, I went to a monastery where they venerate the fire. And that's why he is healthy. So this man was interested to go there, and he wanted to document everything, so he took a cameraman with him and a journalist, and they applied to go there, and they gave them a place where they should stop, and they said, transportation will be provided there. So they came to the place, and there were 2 donkeys there, that was all. And the monastery was 27 kilometers away. So they had to walk there, and they put their equipment on the donkeys, and they marched, you see. And half the way, they said, that's too far, and they wanted to turn back. But then they said, well, going back is the same distance as going forward. So they moved forward, and they reached that monastery. And the monks said, well, we have a simple rule there, very simple rule, and you have to stick to this, otherwise you have to pay for this. You have always to smile. And they didn't smile because their feet were very sore. And said, well, because you didn't smile, there you get a jar, a big jar, and you have to fetch some water, 5 kilometers down. They went down, so, and because it was very heavy, they had to carry it on their heads, and then they have to stay. to walk very straight. So they walked up, and when they arrived, they smiled. But the monk said, no, we watched you. And we saw you did not smile on the road. So you had to go back. Well, after 3 days, they all smiled. 4 weeks, going straight, full of strength, happy and smiling. No treatment whatever. And after 4 weeks, they were all healthy. Now, of course, I shouldn't have told that. Otherwise, I'm no longer on demand when I offer workshops. Still, there will be other occasions, of course. And he discovered all chronic diseases can be healed by this method. All chronic diseases can be healed by this method. And he has healed blind people, 100%. Deaf people, 100%, by the same method. By the same method. And I've learned already to stand straight, as you see, and to smile too, you see. So I learned already a lot. And although I only started reading it 3 weeks ago, it has a wonderful effect on me. I look very healthy, don't I? There you are. Okay, so this is a new approach. And I apply it already for myself, and I started to apply it in workshops, and the results are wonderful.